We're here to support John Caldera's initiative that he's trying to get on the 2010 ballot, which will essentially stop us from feeling the effects in Colorado of the national health care bill. Instead of Obamacare, instead of what's going on, I think the government should release a lot of the regulations that they have on health insurance right now. First of all, letting us buy across state lines, getting away from Medicare and Medicaid being huge parts of the budget. I mean, I think people need to be more responsible for their own health care, and the government regulations need to go away. So, doctors have more say, and there's more of a doctor-patient relationship.
I'm out today to protest Obamacare and big government. I'd like to see a stop to the insanity in Washington and in our state house and get things back to normal, quote normal, to a lower, smaller government.
It's exciting what's happening today in Massachusetts, what's happening today in Colorado, as people really are stepping forward to take back their liberties, to take back their constitutional freedom. There's a lot of things that we could do right now that would reduce the cost of health care. We could reform medical malpractice litigation, making sure that trial lawyers aren't driving up the cost of care. We could allow people to buy insurance across state lines.
Government in Washington's out of control. We're spending money that we don't have. We have congressmen and senators that aren't listening to the people, and I think we need to take Washington back over and make the people in Washington understand that they work for us and we don't work for them, and stop cramming this crap down our throat. I'd like to see it opened up to where you can buy insurance across state lines. I'd like to see tort reform.
I don't like the direction our country is going to. I'm very concerned. I have a grandson who's 4.5 years old, and I want him to have the same opportunities that I have had in this country. And the way we're going right now, I don't see that happening. We are so far in debt, I don't see how we can get out of it. And I particularly am upset about the health care bill.
To give my support to these people that are rallying. So I think it's a massive move towards socialism, and I don't think we're ready for that.
A registered independent voter, and I'm very concerned about all the government spending and the procedures that are being pushed through, that the people have spoken that they're not interested in, that the Democrats insist on pushing through now.
It's not government's place to make sure that I have health insurance or health care. It's a personal responsibility. Like my sign says, it's not a right. I buy my own health insurance. I take care of myself. I don't want the government involved in any of my decisions with health insurance or health care coverage.
Do you see any federal reforms that would be useful in terms of health policy?
Oh, sure, you bet. I think that the federal government can get out of the way and make it easier for insurance companies to compete across borders, and make it easier for people to take their insurance policy from one employer to the next. And by doing that, we'd empower people to actually get out there and make those personal choices so that it's in their best interest.
Are you familiar with the health savings account?
Yes, I have one.
So what do you think about your health savings account?
I love it. I have a high deductible health plan with an HSA. I'm in complete control of all that. And when people are in control of their health insurance, you're able to make better informed decisions. Where most people, if you sprain an ankle or you cut a finger, first thing people think about is to run to the emergency room. And when you're paying the bill, you still want to take care of yourself, only you just don't make those rash decisions. You make good decisions, and then you base it on how badly you're injured, how badly you're hurt, and what you can afford to cover.
Very much opposed to what's going on in Washington, D.C. with this massive government takeover of not only health care but our way of life. And I want to show my support to getting back to constitutional values, individual liberties, individual responsibilities. I think that the government cannot do as well as individual people can do if they apply themselves. Providing insurance across state lines, tort reform so that the cost of insurance for doctors is more reasonable. I mean, again, people should be accountable for their actions, and if doctors make mistakes, then they should be responsible for those. Coast, but the kind of massive lawsuits that are pushed by the legal system is very costly.
We have a concern about what's going on with our country. I don't believe the government has any business getting involved in health care, and I think we're being snowballed big time.
They're all right.
Well, I want to protest what is happening with our healthcare system, what Obama is doing in Washington, and in generally the way the Democrats are running the government. I think the federal government could do a lot by way of real reform. They could change, they could do litigation reform, which would lower medical costs a lot. They could allow insurance to be sold across borders, which would create a competitive market. There's many things that could be done that wouldn't cost the taxpayers and wouldn't involve the government taking over any part of our healthcare system. We have, I think, one of the best healthcare systems in the world. People come here from all over the world for our healthcare.
Even apart from this or that particular detail of the legislation, I'm concerned about the attitude it creates. They're working toward a presupposition that every function of life should naturally be controlled by the central government, which by its very nature robs individual citizens of their power of independent action.
I'm very concerned about this health care. It's going to, I think, hurt the country as a whole and certainly limit health care for many of us. I'm just turned 65. I'm concerned.
We know that healthcare reform needs to take place. We're all behind that. But what's happened with I've become a second-class citizen in the last couple of months because of what's occurred with the special deals for Nebraska and Louisiana, and now the AFL-CIO, and I'm just so disillusioned with that because the Constitution protects me from becoming a second-class citizen. You can put your marbles in the bag of Obama and Reed and Pelosi, or you can go with Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Adams, and I think that I'm going to go with the latter because I think that that's the strength of our country, and I don't want to give it up.
Limit to government that respects people's rights. Mostly we've got to get the government out of the healthcare business. It's not their place, that's a personal responsibility, and that's what people have to do is take back that responsibility. When the government confiscates half of people's earnings with their taxes, when the health care is too costly because of insurance costs, etc., people can't afford health care. And you're not going to solve the problem with more government.
I want to get in the discussion with people who are interested in stopping Obamacare from becoming something Colorado is forced into doing. I think the private sector is the best place for solutions to just about everything. As long as the government isn't involved, we will figure out a solution.
I want to make sure that the health care doesn't pass because it's unconstitutional for the Congress to tell us what products we should buy. It's very, very basic and simple. They don't tell us what kind of car to buy, they don't tell us what kind of other things to buy. They shouldn't be able to dictate what kind of health insurance we should buy. I'm in favor of tort reform for sure because that would stop a lot of these lawsuits and health savings accounts and buying insurance across state lines. There's a lot we can do, the people can do without the people in Washington telling us what to do.
I'm terrified that Obamacare is going to pass and we really need to do something to fight it. If our legislators aren't going to stand up for us, then we need to stand up for ourselves.
I'm here today because I believe that we have a republic and that states have to maintain their rights, and this may be the biggest battle that we have yet. Making it more of a free market system where you can buy across state lines, I think that would help with the competition, and that always helps.
I don't want to see further government involvement in the healthcare system.
The plan takes away the rights of individuals. I think people should have a right to do what they want with health care. It's a states' rights issue, it's not a federal issue.
Even after they instituted what they now have on the desk, you still have 12 million people that weren't covered by health care. So what's it about? I think they could do a lot of simpler things, such as allowing insurance companies to sell across state lines.
It's my civic duty to stand here and show my solidarity with the other good patriots and citizens that are opposing this horrible, unconstitutional and fascist bill that Obama is trying to ram down our throats. The free market has shown time and time again that that is the most efficient and the most moral way for for people to receive goods and services. Federal government should stay out of it and let the free market do its own thing.